Exploring the regions of the United States, Day 2. Today's objective, I can find a location using symbols and coordinates. Here on this screen, you will notice this map, and on this map it has a map key. And on this map, if I look at the dots, and I look right here in Kingston, there's a dot. That dot means it is a city. If I see a star, that means it's the state capital. So Albany would be the state capital for the state of New York. If I see a plane, that would indicate an airport. So here in Buffalo, there's an airport. There's also one here in Long Island. The red lines are highways and roads. There's Highway 81 that runs through right here. And there's also roads. This one is Road 17. You also have Highway 87 here. So you can see that map keys are very important when you're looking at directions. But you also can see that I have my cardinal directions and my intermediate directions. And this is called a compass rose. And we're going to learn more about these today. The first thing we're going to start with is our 4 cardinal directions, so directions on a map. So here is our globe. And if I'm standing here on the equator and I'm facing the North Pole, okay, I would be facing the north, which is here. My back would be facing the south. To the right of me would be east, and to the left would be west. These are called your cardinal directions, your cardinal directions, sorry about that, which is north, east, south, west. Some of you may have learned never eat sour watermelon or never eat soggy waffles. So that's one way that it's easy to learn about cardinal directions. The next part on the compass rose, which is down here, so I've got north, east, south, and west. You notice you have these additional directions, and these are called your intermediate directions. So if I'm facing north here, I'm on the equator, and I wanted to go this way, I would be going northeast. If I went this way, I would be going southeast. Okay? If I were to go this way, I would go northwest. If I were to go this way, that would be southwest. So these are called your intermediate directions, and that is very important when you're reading a map and using a map to follow or go to a place. Lots of us now use GPS to help us, but a GPS is still important to know which way is north, east, south, and west. Because if you're not sure of these and your GPS is not set up correctly, or it's set up correctly but you don't know which way is north, it will be hard to read a GPS. Let's continue. The next thing we're going to really talk about is understanding longitude and latitude. And first we're going to watch this video on understanding longitude and latitude. So I'm going to go ahead and click play so you can listen.
Imagine that you're flying in a plane. Beautiful skies, amazing views. But how do you know where to go? There aren't any signs floating in the air, right? So how do pilots know where to land their planes? Would you like to find out? Yeah, I would. In this lab, we're going to be learning about the invisible lines that help us navigate the world. Longitude and latitude. This is a compass. It can tell you which direction you are traveling. North, east, south, west. A good way to remember is to remember the saying, never eat soggy waffles. But just knowing which direction you're going isn't enough to pinpoint a specific place. Look here. Let's say we're here and we want to go to that spot right there. We know we're going east, but how far east? Where do I stop? Is it southeast, northeast? Now imagine you were up in the air and you wanted to find this point. How would you be able to see it?
Yeah, I'm not seeing any dots up here.
That's right. Well, we can help them by drawing some lines to really find that point. Can you picture these lines running all around the Earth? These are called lines of longitude, and they run north and south, but that's not what they're there for.
Hi, Dr. Nagler. It took me all night, but I finally finished hand-making that globe you wanted.
Excellent. Looks good, especially the lines. What do you think these longitude lines tell us? Well, imagine if you could cut through one. Why imagine? Let's do it!
You cut through my globe.
Of course I did, and it cut very nicely. You see, longitude lines run north to south, but they separate east and west. To help identify these lines, we number them. This line is 0 degrees longitude, also known as the prime meridian. Degrees in this case isn't temperature, it's a unit of measure that we tell how far away from the center we are. So we start with 0 degrees, and we move away from the center. So this line would be 10 degrees, and this one would be 20 degrees, and so on. And also notice on the other side of 0, the same thing happens. 10 degrees and 20 degrees. And the way we label these is which side of 0 is east and west. And you'll notice that this point is 10 degrees east, and this one is 10 degrees west. So here is our point at 30 degrees east. But is that enough to land our plane? What do you think?
Okay, I'm flying on that longitude, but I don't see the runway. That's not enough information.
That's right. You need to know where on the line our point is. Is it down here? Up here? We need lines going the other way to intersect our lines of longitude. So the longitude lines separate east and west. What do you think these lines will do?
Okay, Dr. Nagler, I was able to make one more globe. Please be careful with this one.
Of course I will. I have safety glasses on.
I need a new job.
You see, I cut laterally to create latitude lines. These lines go from east to west, but they separate north and south. These two halves are called hemispheres, which means half a sphere or half a globe, north and south. Just like the longitude lines, latitude lines are numbered beginning with 0 degrees in the center. This is called the equator. Let's label these lines as we did before, starting with 0 degrees equator and going 10 degrees north and 10 degrees south, away from 0. Now, let's see where our point is. The latitude lines have intersected our longitude lines right at our point. Now we have two lines that cross, and X marks the spot. Our point is 20 degrees north and 30 degrees east. These two numbers are called coordinates. Will that be enough to land the plane?
Okay, I see it. I see the runway.
So did you learn anything useful today?
Yes, I did. I learned that it takes two coordinates to find yourself on the globe. Longitude and latitude.
That's right. Latitude and longitude are invisible lines used for navigation that intersect at specific points. What else did we learn?
I learned not to give you the keys to the chainsaw.
That's not all. Didn't we learn what the two halves of the globe are called?
Hemispheres.
And what does hemisphere mean?
Half of a globe.
That's right. And remember, The point where the hemispheres meet is labeled 0 degrees, and we start numbering there in both directions. Now that we've learned how longitude and latitude work, you're going to find some points on the globe yourself.
So turn to your peer, and you can pause the video as needed, and tell them 2 things you learned about longitude and latitude.
Imagine that you're flying in a plane.
So I've given you a map of the world, of the globe, and what you're going to do is find what continents are located using the following coordinates: 100 degrees west, 40 degrees north. I'll help you with this first one. So I'm going to look up here. I can start up here, you can start down here. And I remember that this is 0. This is north, east, south, and west. So I'm going to be going this way from my 0. So I'm going to go west. And here's my 100 degrees west. But now I need to find that 40 degrees north. So here's my 100 degrees west. And I'm going to kind of come down. And I know that this first one is 80. This next line is 60. And then this one is 40. But is that north? Well, here's the equator. Everything above is north. Everything below is south. So this is 40 degrees north. So let's go back up again. Here's my 100 degrees west. 80 degrees. 60 degrees. 40 degrees. Oh, what continent did we land on? If you said North America, you are correct. North America is 100 degrees west and 40 degrees north, using our coordinates of longitude and latitude. I would encourage you to find this next one, 20 degrees east and 0 degrees. So I'm going to go here to the equator because I know this is east. So let's see, let's go back up here. Here's 0 degrees, and I need to go 20 degrees east. Never eat sour waffle or sour watermelon. 20 degrees east is this way, so here's 20 degrees. But it says to find 0 degrees, so I'm going to kind of go all the way down. Here's 60, 40, 20, 0. Oh, I'm on the equator. What continent did we land on? If you said Africa, you are so correct. Great job. Here's our next screen. This time, it's your turn. You are going to find the coordinates for Europe and Antarctica. Remember, north, east, south, west. Don't forget to label those. And this little dot above, those are called degrees. Remember, it's not temperature degrees, it's the degrees of which way. This will be your final, this is what you will turn in on Seesaw to your teacher, finding the coordinates for Europe, which is here, finding that coordinate, and the coordinates for Antarctica. Good luck today!